Broadcasting to the world, this is On Call with Chad McCall. In our show, we bring you inspiration, strategies, and insights on how to start, grow, and scale your business.
It's drastically changed my life.
The show is so informative. I just love it. It's honest. It's helped me grow as a person.
Real talk about life, lifestyle, society, and living limitless. Learning from the top influencers across the world, along with industry experts, authorities for you to live your greatest life. It's time to level up.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Here's your host, best-selling author and mentor, Chad McCall.
Welcome again to On Call with Chad McCall. And that's me, your host. And for the next little bit, we're going to be talking about TikTok. This TikTok thing has gotten out of control. And in my house and everywhere I go, I see TikTokers with their eyes glued to their phones. At some point, you have to recognize this platform has influence. And like it or not, like the origin of the platform or not, it's here and making an impact on tens of millions of people every second. I'm no expert on TikTok, but the thing is about my podcast is I know people that know people. And I want to always bring value to these minutes that we get to spend together while you listen. Today's call is with Ethen Ostroff. He's a personal injury lawyer who is scaling his business through TikTok and social media, and he's using virtual assistants also. The reason this call is so important is I want you to look at the type of business he has. He's an attorney. The stigma of attorneys is their business. You'd never think of that they're going to be needing to advertise and promote through a platform like TikTok. Like, how could it even work? So think about it one more time. How can an attorney offer products and services online and promote that way? I was thinking that attorneys never really do marketing progressively and that their profession would be the last one I think could even benefit from social media. So many of you may be thinking the same exact thing that I was. TikTok is not my people. How can it help my business? I don't have a product or a service for that group. You're actually wrong. Listeners, I have an awesome call with Ethen, and he explains how he uses it for awareness, branding, and building clients, where he even has a network now, and he's built his followers up to hundreds of thousands in a few months. So here we go. Siri, will you give Ethen Ostroff a call?
Hello.
Ethen.
Hey, Chad, what's happening?
Hey, how are you today, man? You are on call with Chad McCall. I've got you on the podcast.
Sounds great. Thanks so much for having me here.
2020 is having its way with a lot of businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, side hustlers, CEOs, all of the above. And that's the people that are on here listening today, Ethen. So they want to know what you know. And we're going to be talking about TikTok.
Absolutely. I'm totally, I'm all yours. Let's do it.
Good. Well, people that are listening, I go way back with Ethen's mom. I've been following Ethen and tracking his success through your mom, Ethen, and she's been telling me about when you graduated, getting your law degree, moving, and becoming an attorney at the firm now, and then where we left off here last. I'm thinking you're going to have to fill in the gaps for me, but I think it was October of last year or so. You started the voyage into the influencer space with law firms and being an attorney on TikTok. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I really put out my first piece of social media content under the Ethen Ostroff Law brand on TikTok on October 1st, 2019. So really not that long ago.
So where did this come from? Tell me about like graduating, because I know you weren't taught social media, Mark, and you probably weren't taught, becoming an influencer, branding. You probably weren't taught a lot of those things in law school. So you got to tell me where this originated.
I wasn't. I'm a very atypical lawyer. What you hear from a lot of lawyers is, I just want to practice law. I want to move cases. I want to go to trial. I love all those things, but I'm also really interested in, the service-based branding side of it. There are very few industries where you truly sell yourself and trust for people to hire you or trust your recommendations of others. And, I actually went to Penn State and was an advertising major there. But you only get so much experience. Really, it was just because, you don't really get that real life experience in college, but obviously it was something that, piqued my interest. But I was doing, Tide campaigns and coming up with out of the box ways to get random brand campaigns together. But I knew I never wanted to go into like real hardcore advertising, but I knew I wanted to be in either sales or be a lawyer and sell my service. So that's kind of where, the way back where it started.
Coming out of this, last year, you've been an attorney for a little over a year now, or how long have you been practicing?
I passed the bar in July 2018, and I became an attorney in 2019.
Okay, so now, as soon as you become an attorney, the first year, you are launching a social media advertising platform. And I mean, you're probably looking for ways to do it for free or do it very cheaply. There's not anyone teaching it. So you're kind of guessing and creating something as you go, right? And so why did you choose TikTok?
There's a really simple formula for organic reach. And I think that that's really the key of this. And the person who pushed me into checking TikTok out and understanding that the first time you post a video, it could get 1 million views was actually Gary Vee. I'm sure you know who Gary Vee is.
Oh, yeah. Well, for everybody, Ethen, let's tell them what organic means because some of the listeners may not understand organic exactly. So talk about what organic really means.
So let's say that we go back to flashback to 2012 on Facebook. Let's say that you put a post out about, whatever you wanted to talk about, a value-based post. That post organically can get in front of other people's news feeds because there just was not that much content on Facebook in 2012. So organic means without spending a dollar, you get in front of people's faces. It's sort of like, I'm sure people have heard the term SEO, which means search engine optimization. That just means that you write really keyword rich blog articles on your website so that people, when they Google, what to do after a car crash, your website will have the answer and then they'll go to your website. It's just organically you're getting in front of people without spending money.
Got it. And then TikTok, when you're talking about organic, you're still thinking like, how can I get organic reach in 2019, my first year as an attorney?
Exactly. So, I first started on Instagram a little bit, and I would play with, putting out a post here and there, and I'd get maybe 150 followers on an injury lawyer's account that I created, and it was frustrating to me that I felt like I had to pay to play. And what I mean by that is, if I wanted to get in front of thousands of people on my Instagram account, I needed to pay $20 to get, 5,000 impressions. But I started looking at TikTok, and there's two real main pages on TikTok. There's the following page and the For You page. When you open up the app the first time, you'll know what I'm talking about. And on the For You page, I was just amazed by looking at people's profiles, how the view counts were just absurd. I'd look at someone's account and they'd have their first few videos with over 1 million views. And I know that they did not spend any money on those posts. So when I first got into TikTok, Gary Vee's advice was just study the platform for 5-6 hours, consume other people's content, pay attention to the trends, understand what people are talking about, and then stay in your lane and give your twist within your industry. So when I first made my first post, there was this trend going on, and I'm sure people see a lot of singing and dancing on TikTok. I'm not a singer. I'm not a dancer. I'm not even that funny. I'm just very straightforward. And I went very straightforward on what was going on in a trend at the time. There was this song that basically for 15 seconds, somebody goes, nope, yup, nope, yup. And that's it. That was the trend going on. And people would talk about their lives. I have a boyfriend right now. Nope. I love to go for a walk on the beach. Yup. And then they would just put captions on it. So I did stereotypical things that people think about lawyers with me basically knowing and yupping. And I did, do I chase ambulances for a living? Nope. Do I wear a suit every day to work? Nope. Is this a real background behind me? Yup. Will I review your case for free? Yup. And it got almost 100,000 views in a few days. And I was hooked after that. So What I did on my next post was on a comment on that video, someone said, can a teacher, these are younger kids a lot of the time. When I first got on it, it's aged up really quickly now. But someone said, can a teacher take my cell phone and look through it? So I did a video, can a teacher take your cell phone and look through it? And then that got like 300,000 views. And then my third video, when I was in law school, I used to teach pro bono at a high school about what to do in police interactions. And if you are in a consensual encounter with a police officer walking on the street, and a police officer comes up to you and they don't have probable cause to arrest you and they don't have reasonable suspicion that you're doing something wrong, and they say, hey, where are you going? What's in your bag? What are you doing? And obviously we know that, some certain people get harassed by the police a lot more than others. And I said, what do? You say, officer, am I under arrest? And am I free to leave? And I did this in a selfie type video right in front of City Hall in the middle of Broad Street. And it got 1 million views. And it was pretty crazy to see, when you talk about things and put your foot in the sand and just state things as a matter of fact in a platform where you're going to get in front of people. The algorithm just took off on me, because if you get likes, shares, if someone watches your video full through or they comment on it, it's got a different score. So the more that happens, the more engagement you get, the more it pushes it to people's what's called For You page. So I was already going viral on my third video.
You're an attorney. You're not a dancer. You're not a comedian.
Yes.
You're, you're not a hot chick in a bikini dancing around or doing whatever. I mean, like what you'd think, because I'm thinking of stereotypical videos of what I would think TikTok's all about: singing, lip singing, everything else. But you used it for a business. You're using it. So entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, CEOs, side hustlers, whatever. If you're on here listening to this, Ethen is not using it for what other people are using this platform for. You're reaching the right type of people. You're reaching an organic audience. You're not, don't stereotype the platform. And I think that's what I want to make sure people know, Ethen. Like, you're showing us why not to stereotype a certain platform, because so many people are late to the race, is what I call it. Like, they're like, oh, I knew that was out there. I never did it. I'm one of those that's guilty. My wife's been involved with TikTok for a while, and my kids, and I'm like, well, I'm so busy in the other platforms. But you got to take time. And like Gary Vee said, study the platform. What is Ethen doing right here, guys? Telling you a simple formula of how to do it for free, avoiding pay to play, getting it going where you can promote your business, but also talking about your business in a way that you're the expert, you're the authority, you know what you're talking about, right? I mean, is there any secret formula to that, Ethen? That's what you did basically, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'll use Gary Vee's term of jab, 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 then right hook. What I heard you say, which I think is really important, is talk about your business, but don't talk about it in a way that is clearly self-promoting. If you are a glass blower, why don't you do a before, during, and after? If you are a carpenter, do a before, during, and after. If you are an accountant, talk about someone's problem that is likely universal. Like yesterday, I saw a guy that works in finance who just explained how to copy and paste from a PDF into an Excel, and it had over 1 million views. And all you do is hold Alt down, and then you can just scroll over a certain part of the PDF, and it copies into an Excel the right way. Just little things that you would never imagine that can go viral if it's value driven, because people are so savvy now more than ever. This is not a billboard on social media. This is who provides me, the viewer, with the most value for me to stay on this 15-second video to actually consume what you're saying. So a really strong hook in the first 3 seconds, what you're giving to me. So, can you return to work after coronavirus safely? Can you, how do I avoid getting, an extra charge if I'm in police custody? Give people what they want and then explain it afterwards. So I hope that all made sense.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So let's talk about the journey of your business, Ethen, and what you did. So when you started posting, okay, great, you're getting views, you're going viral. So now we're several months, after the fact, and tell us about this transformation of what it's done as a business owner and how to use it as a business.
Sure. So, I got onto this and I'm very unique in the legal field that like I have been obsessed with marketing, since I went to law school. In law school, I was obsessing over this idea of building a nationwide referral network because, people in the legal field are really, it's a very ego-driven field. We love to beat our chest in a courtroom, say we eat insurance companies for breakfast. I don't really have that kind of ego. I just like to help people at scale. So if you go into it as a lawyer with the mantra of I'm just doing this to help people, people will inevitably become your biggest fan because they can feel that you're not just doing this, to sell to them. So, flash forward now, I guess it's almost 8 or 9 months later. Yes, I'm trying to sell a little bit more than I was obviously when I first got on there. But before I could sell, I had to build that reputation and become an authority on TikTok. So now I'm building out multiple click funnels. I have a specific color theme, a couple of practical things that I would strongly recommend. Go get your name in a domain, reserve every single social media of the exact same handle. If you find me on Twitter and up and coming apps like Zin, there's tons that I'm very agnostic to the platform itself. You have to have the same name on every platform and make sure it's reserved. So you don't have to pay somebody $10,000 for your domain. So I'm Ethen Ostroff Law on every platform. So now at this point, I am trying to sort of become people's trusted lawyer. So some of the things I'm trying to do now are, I've built up that trust and reputation with people. Now I want them to reach out to me when they need a lawyer, even if they're in another state that I can't necessarily represent them in. So I have a website. I'm starting to branch out onto YouTube, Instagram, and other social media forms. But my goal really is to become somebody's trusted lawyer, whether I'm in the state or not. So does that all make sense?
Sure, let's talk about that. Like using this as a way to grow a business all over the country. That's what I mean, guys that are listening, pay attention to that. Ethen, you're an attorney in a specific state, county, city, everything else. Most
Yep.
people are going to say, well, this does not work for my product, or because, you didn't use your profession as a roadblock and where you're located because you're not an attorney in every single state. You said, hey, you know what? I'm talking about a referral network. I know I can make business in my business here all over the country. So there's always a way to get, more from what you're doing. So don't set up roadblocks. Everybody's paying attention to this right now. Ethen took down a barrier and said, you know what? I want to use this platform to connect me to the whole country, even though my profession isn't normally like that. Because I would be thinking, Ethen, that as an attorney, there's not an influencer. There's not someone in that space that's really doing, what you're doing. But it's also one of those professions that no one's ever thought about it because it's always been one of those things where no, we don't. It's like a different thought behind what an attorney does for someone in the area. But you broke down that barrier and went right for, capturing an audience to where you're building a referral network. Even though it's not you, you have the infrastructure laid for this referral network all over the country with people that are following you just off of organic reach.
Yeah. I mean, TikTok, it definitely does know where you are. So like, obviously, there's concerns, national security wise, but it does, the nature of social media, reach everybody nationwide, let alone worldwide. And because there's organic reach, it's not saying, okay, because you're from Philadelphia, this Philadelphia relevant content should be pushed in front of you, sort of like the Instagram Explore page. But what you can do if you are local and you want to be local with your marketing, you can always do specific local targeted marketing. So, for example, like I am a practicing lawyer. I'm not going to do paid marketing in Montana on Facebook, but I am going to target specific areas of Pennsylvania on, for example, motorcycles. So if you like motorcycles in a certain part of Pennsylvania, you might see my ad on your Facebook page because, I know that there's a big motorcycle population, and that is my sort of more targeted approach. So, it's a little bit of both. TikTok is definitely, if you think about it from a really practical perspective, it's like planting a seed. When you do paid marketing, it's like planting a partially grown tree. You're going to have to pay a little bit more for it, but you might get a little bit more of that short-term benefit. But TikTok for me is I have 200,000 followers on there that hopefully when they need me, they know that I'm there. And that's something that lawyers right now don't really pay attention to, is that, long tail advertising that will benefit you way more when people know and trust you and have seen your content consistently for 6 months, a year, 3 years. I can tell you that people now, I'm starting to migrate them off of TikTok because I actually am very concerned that TikTok will get shut down, but I'm not worried about it because I've sort of figured out that if you put out content, it's like putting gas on a fire. The more you put out, the more that fire grows. And I'm starting to migrate people to other platforms. I'm going to start putting out more content on Instagram. And, it's sort of like an octopus. Your website where you make your sale is the head. And then all the tentacles are just sort of like flipping through channels on a television show. You have to put a little effort into each of them.
You mentioned effort. So for the listeners, let's talk about how much time and energy does someone need to devote to creating a presence on a platform? Let's say, for example, like today, TikTok. I do so many other things, and I'm like other people. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is this going to take forever? Like, how much time is this going to be? Hours of my day, or editing, or what? Like, how realistic is it for me as a beginner to be able to start using TikTok to create an awareness, to create a reach, a presence for free? I mean, that's the other reason why I'm using TikTok, guys. Make sure it's so important. It's a free platform to get you growth in all the other platforms. It's the perfect complement to other things that you're doing too, like Ethen's driving traffic off of TikTok onto other platforms just in case. But it's built such recognition or awareness with the brand. So what about the time it's going to take me to do that? Is it hard? Can anybody do it?
Yep. So 2 parts to that. I heard driving off of the page and time. So number 1, I'll start with driving off the page. On my TikTok, in my link in my bio is a link to my link tree. Linktree is a really simple way to put all of your website, your Instagram, your YouTube. It puts it all into one really simple, extremely mobile friendly method that people can find everything. And I'll share it, wherever this is posted for mine as an example. Second, it does take time. I can tell you that you can grow on TikTok in a matter of a month if you want to post 10 times a day. I know people that have grown to millions of followers by posting 20 times a day, but it's a balance. These are people that are trying to make a living content creating. You guys are business owners. So what my method was, which I thought it definitely took my time. I spent at least 45 minutes to an hour a day. I put out 2 pieces of content every weekday. That was my goal. And, once I cracked over 200,000 followers, I started to teeter down. And I know that looking at my analytics, it has definitely affected, my rapid growth. But, at a certain point, I'm trying to put my effort in other places. So from a scalability perspective, TikTok is one of those platforms that you really do need to post things your own way. What I mean by that is record within the platform, edit within the platform, because people can tell when you're just putting something and uploading it. It's sort of like a military community. When you're in that community, people know you're in the community. But when you're trying to force your way in, people can kind of sniff it out and they don't trust you. It's a very culty community on TikTok. So if you want to really be trusted on there, you kind of have to do it a little bit on your own. But what I'm starting to do now is I'm starting to work with virtual assistants. And I have a virtual assistant for editing, a virtual assistant for commenting, for engagement. I have a virtual assistant for responding to direct messages. I have a virtual assistant who's helping me with actually posting things. I'm starting a podcast myself, and I have a virtual assistant who's going to actually post it every time that I record one. So, inevitably, if you're going to commit to really a media plan, you got to do it for a little while to know that you're going to commit. If you've done it for a few months and you're getting exhausted, at that point, when you trust that, yes, I'm committed to doing this, then you can start to scale into, okay, how do I do it in a way where I can just sit in front of the camera, do what I do best, record content, and then just upload it to somewhere that someone else can do the rest. But until you trust that you actually will put the effort in, it's not worth starting, because there's no shortcuts. Just because your video is edited doesn't mean people are going to like it more or follow you. It doesn't really mean anything. People are going to trust you because they like you and they actually trust you, not because you paid somebody to do a part of it. They're going to sniff out the shortcuts. So I hope I answered all that.
Sure. Well, and you're talking from a profession and stereotyping, and I'm going to stereotype attorneys, right? What is a stereotype from attorneys, right? When you say the word trust, you've said that a lot of times, trust it and being authentic, and your personality is I'm straightforward. So you are you're coming from a profession, a career that has historically had stereotypes of you can't trust an attorney, right? Do they really have your best interest? Are they compassionate? Whatever it may be that we all have our own stereotypes. But you are in a profession starting behind the eight ball. And so look at what you did to create trust, build a brand, get followers and all that. So I'm trying to just relate that to other people. You're in a profession right here that other people are going to be in a lot easier profession to get traction. I feel their profession may not have a negative, vibe around it. It could be more positive, but you still did it organically. And so you put the time in, and free equals work is what I always say. If you don't want to do it for free, then pay, and pay a lot and you can get there. But why not try it, do it for free? You didn't have a professional editing team, you didn't have social media manager, you did it yourself. And it can be done yourself with a little bit of time and just understanding the platform simply, and you can get to building awareness and building a brand very quickly on a platform like TikTok and get them over to other platforms. The organic reach is huge from what I've seen with you.
Yeah. I mean, step one is become an authority on TikTok. Step two is migrate people to where you want to make them sell your thing. People are not just if you do your first post and say, you should buy my widget because it's great. People won't care. People don't like you. You have to expect that people don't like you and don't trust you first. And you
Right.
mentioned a good point. I wanted to lawyers. It's one of these really weird professions where, number one, our technology is hilariously awful. We just have these archaic methods to keep, people out of what we're doing. There's always like a cloak and robes and secrecy, and it's all bullshit. And,
Yeah.
people didn't get, I wanted to give answers to people at scale that people that are my clients ask me every day. And it started bothering me when I would get asked the same simple questions. Oh, I didn't know what that part of my auto policy was. In my head, I'm like, well, did you read your auto policy? But the truth is, even if you read your auto policy, it's like reading another language. There's these barriers in these parts of my world that I really just wanted to, take the legalese and turn it into I'm speaking to you at a bar. So I try to use really small, really simple words that anyone can understand. It's are you relatable? Can I trust you? And if you're using a big word like, jurisdiction or whatever, people are just going to roll their eyes and switch to another content creator.
Right. So if you were to give some advice to people that are brand new, like a complete, beginner's guide to using TikTok as a platform to create awareness, build a brand, get noticed, get traction. If something brand new that they're starting, if they're a brand new entrepreneur, or they're shifting their business over to more virtual, more online things from, the normal way since it's 2020, what is the step 1, 2, 3, 4 for people that are brand new at this to using TikTok for their business?
I got a couple of pieces for you. Number one, I did write a blog article specifically about this subject. What does it take to
Awesome.
start a personal brand? And
We're going to get the link, and I'm going to post it in this one as for everybody too. So
that is a really clear, I put 9 main points, but I'll pick a couple of them. know that you should be selling or go from selling to telling. What I mean by that is don't tell someone they should buy someone, tell them why they need what it is that you're selling. So, uh, whatever that is, just get really comfortable leaning into whatever your content style is. Another piece would be audit yourself. What I can tell you is there are people that I work with here who, I get in front of the camera and if anything, I get a little more energetic. But some people just don't like being in front of the camera. They freeze. They don't smile well. They don't talk well. They need to do 10 cuts. If you're not getting in front of the camera and succeeding in what you want to say on the first cut or two, then you probably need to audit yourself and think, maybe I should be doing blog articles. Maybe I should, just be doing photographs and focusing on Instagram. So, there's really three pieces to it. Am I a good writer? Am I good on video? Or should I stick to photographs? Those are a couple pieces. To get started on TikTok, number one, really learn the platform. Go on the For You page, study it for 4 or 5 hours. Seriously, I mean it. Notice the things that come up. Like, let's say you watch 20 videos and 3 videos are the same, either sound or the same dance or the same trend. And you can feel their similarities. That is a trend. And if you're seeing that trend happening, take that trend, put your spin on it, like what I did with the Nope Yup trend, and go with your actual, segment. If you sell insurance, you can definitely do a I sell insurance twist on whatever trend is happening on TikTok. Always know that at least 50% of people that consume content on video alone, let alone TikTok, are doing it on silent. So can I watch my videos and understand what you're saying if it's on silent? I always caption them. It's actually not word for word what comes out of my mouth, but you get the point of what I'm saying if you watch it on silent. Another piece would be smile. As crazy as that sounds, it's straight out of How to Win Friends and Influence People. And if you smile, people will like you more. So get in front of the camera, start with a smile, end with a smile. I try to do that on every single video. Let me think, what else? I would say don't worry about followers, likes, and data. I can tell you I have 200,000 followers, but I don't really care. My goal is to help as many people as possible. I'm not doing it so that people follow me. I'm doing it so that I can help people. And if your first video flops, don't give up. If you do one video, you're not going to probably hit 1 million views, but you could if you're really hitting on what people want. So shift your point of view from what am I going to get out of this to what are people wanting out of what I have to say. So that's a good few things to get started.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, and a call to action, I think too, is like an important part of, because from the marketing world and sales side, I'm thinking of, is there a call to action? When do I do that? Where do I do it? Or do I drive them off of the one platform? And then that's where I'm introducing them into call to actions and actually taking a step.
I would say that call to actions on TikTok are sort of like an ask. And what I mean by that is I wouldn't do a call to action on any of your first, I'd say 10, 15 videos. And what I mean by that is you got to build that trust first before people can, get off your platform. But what I would do is I already talked about this earlier with Linktree. You got to put your link, your website, your Linktree in your bio. If you are giving that value, that is the call to action and people will go to what you have to sell. But if they don't trust you first and it just feels like you're trying to, call them to buy your product, then they're not going to go. So I know it sounds a little confusing, but the call to actions, I haven't done call to actions until honestly, I cracked over 200,000 followers. And since then, I do you know what Community is, the SMS text platform?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Gary V texts me, it's really just for big celebrities and influencers.
Yep.
So recently I've been telling people, you know, for example, there might be TikTok, TikTok might not be here for forever. And the reason why is obviously everyone knows what's going on with the news. Don't let that stop you from getting onto it. But I put a TikTok out recently that said, if TikTok is removed, I'm going to be giving out updates on the situation if you text me to this number, the word TikTok. And then at the end, I gave a little teaser which said, and which is true, is that including many content creators, are really considering that if TikTok is removed by the US government, a Fifth Amendment's taking clause mass tort lawsuit against the US government, because content creators have built unbelievable digital assets, getting paid 10, 15, 20, $50,000 a post on this platform. So I have now got 400 people that are texting me. I'm now living as a lawyer in people's text messages. I've got over 400 contacts in my phone book from this community platform. So that's a call to action that I've done now, but I wouldn't have been able to get that kind of traction if I hadn't built up the authority first.
Well, I think it's just shows a sign of the times. And what's most important about you being on here today, Ethan, is it's a career, a profession. There's you being an attorney. That's what I was really thinking about showing people. Doesn't matter what you do, regardless of how you went there's times of change. The world, the new norm is changed. Like, it's different. 2020 is winning against everything, right? Things are changing. Things are going more virtual. Things are going online. A lot of business owners are forced to push into this world. TikTok is one of the many roads that people are going to travel. It's not one that you should avoid. You're going to eventually have to catch on with some things. Like, we were, resistant to Facebook sometimes, resistant to LinkedIn, resistant to Instagram. You can't be always resisting change. You have to be open for different opportunities. And that's why TikTok, and listening to you and watching how you're working the business from an organic reach, from talking about it, becoming an authority, migrating people from one platform to another, regardless of TikTok or not. Hopefully listeners are taking from this the ability to create reach, create awareness, build brands, regardless of your profession, your product, your service that you're offering. The reach can be out there, but you're going to get better as you keep going too. And that's the one thing I want people to know, Ethan, is you're so much better now probably than when you first started. Your vision's grown, your IQ of the platforms have grown, listening to people has grown, like your intuitiveness and your awareness of what's in demand has grown too, all from just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, something on that. I started working, actually, my mom introduced me to a platform called BombBomb. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
I have not.
BombBomb is a video email marketing platform where you can send a GIF of your the way that it works is you basically click a record button in my Gmail or in your Outlook. It records you, and it's personalized to that client you're trying to sell, and then it will embed the video in the body of the email as a clickable GIF. So what I do is I actually take a little whiteboard and I write my client's name on it so they know it's unique to them. I wave it in front of the camera because that's what's going to be on that GIF that they can click. And I say, "Hey, Sean, I'm so sorry about what's going on with your car accident in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania." And then I'll screen record on my website where we have a map of Pennsylvania, and I'll say, "We've handled, thousands of cases in Lancaster and gotten, multi-million-dollar recoveries. Rest assured, this is something that, we definitely can handle." And that got me in front of the camera a little bit. So my point in saying that is I've been practicing getting in front of the camera a lot. And the first time I did a BombBomb, I was not good. But what they preach is, even if you mess up a little bit, it's more human than if you're perfect. No one's perfect. When people are consuming your content, they don't want to see the perfectly edited content. They don't mind. And in fact, they like seeing you do a selfie at your desk with your hair a little messy. And if you stumble on a word, that actually makes you more relatable. And I think that that's really important to note on. So
That's right. Well, I think a funny one would be, what attorneys wear to work. One day you're in a hoodie, a t-shirt, or you're in a suit from the waist up, and then you stand up and you've got your basketball shorts on or something. I think that would be hilarious, because there's that more human side, I think. And what you're getting at is, it's okay to mess up. I mess up all the time. I've probably messed up so many times, just you and I talking or saying the wrong word or use the wrong punctuation. It's normal. It's human. The best speakers, when they are so perfect, I begin to worry and wonder when they're too polished. You said that, and that definitely is something that's important to me. I like
I actually
authenticity.
did that TikTok, the not wearing pants TikTok. When I was sitting at my desk one day, I was watching the Hangover the night before,
Right.
and there's a scene in the Hangover where they wake up after the crazy night of partying, and Stu goes, you know, pants at a time like this? Why would you be telling me that? And I did a voiceover where I was sitting at my desk and, there was a trending song going on at the time. And then I said, and then I turned to the camera while I'm grabbing a piece of food out of my fridge and said, pants at a time like this with my collared shirt tucked in my underwear. So like I actually did that.
Got it. I'll have to watch it. So, well, that leads me to a good point. Ethen, how can the listeners and followers that are on here, how can they follow you, stay connected to you, watch what you're doing and how you're promoting your business and, get into your funnel so they can see what you're doing?
Sure. So what I will do is I will give you my link tree, which will give people access to every single one of my social media feeds, including my website. I'm currently starting to work with who I call my boots on the ground in Thailand. He's an American guy who's actually trains, finds, and will set you up with virtual assistants. And he's fantastic. And I'm starting my SOW with him last month. So I'm like just starting a process of I'm migrating to YouTube. I'm starting actually on Pinterest because Pinterest is a really searched platform, and I'm becoming a little more agnostic because I was really heavy on TikTok when I first started, and now there are other places like YouTube where people search for solutions. So I want people to search for areas of law that I practice in. So I'm starting to make a little bit more of a sales push, if that makes sense.
And then Instagram and all that. So I'll post a link tree here so everyone can follow and stay connected
Yep.
with you.
Yep. And I'm very accessible. People can join my text group. If you want to email me and set up a call, I'm always willing to talk to people and help people out. There's a lawyer now named Attorney Tom who started on TikTok in the beginning of, I think, February or end of January. And he's already got over 150,000 more followers than I do because he's hilarious. But the first time that he got on TikTok, he recorded a video which was hilarious. And he said he wrote a motion to the TikTok bar. And he like did a screen share of the motion and asked for permission and then tagged all the famous TikTok lawyers on there. And I did something called a duet, which means I'm basically doing a side-by-side video with that video. And he blew up to 5,000 followers like within a day. And then within a few months, he's already got, 1.5 times the followers that I even have. So it's, yeah.
Oh, that'd be
So
great.
it's just being creative and being yourself and not being afraid to just consistently do it and know that, your friends are going to snicker at you. Your family's going to make fun of you, but nobody makes fun of people, when they're doing less than them. So, you just got to know that like what you're doing is the right thing and just lean into it and don't care about the judgment of others because that's the number one reason people don't actually do social media marketing.
Well, Ethen, thanks so much for being on here today with me. We went way longer than I expected, man. I've asked you a ton of questions. I'm probably keeping you from other things that you need to be doing. So before I let you go, I've got to ask you my top 3 questions. If you were to look down at your phone on your playlist, what was the last song that was playing?
Let me look. I'll go with Mumford and Sons. That's typically who I'm listening to.
Next one. What is your favorite movie?
V for Vendetta. Yeah, by far. I love movies where I can't predict the ending and I had no idea what the hell was happening.
Got last one. What's your pet's name?
Mozzarella. He's an Italian Jew, just like me. It's spelled Matzohrella.
Well, Ethen, thanks for sharing what you're doing. And as with every episode, I try to bring value to life and business and anyone out there looking to get an extra step up on competition and moving forward. So I appreciate you and your time.
Of course, I'm here for you. I'd love to do it again.
Thanks a lot for today. And don't forget, you're always on call.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, friends, you are always on call.